A portion of this video is sponsored by ButcherBox. So the iPhone 13 line is here after months of rumors and leaks. It is finally official, and there is a ton of new things, including some killer features that I think we've been waiting for years. I know I have. So here are my top 5 favorite things about the iPhone 13s, iPhone 13 Pros. So I'm gonna jump right in. The first thing that I am pumped about, I've been hoping for years, catching up to what Android flagships have had for a while, better screens across the entire iPhone 13 line. So let's start with the 13 and 13 mini. All the stuff you'd expect is there, just a little bit better now. Super Retina XDR display, up to 800 nits. All that's awesome, a little bit brighter, but the big story, what's got a special spot in my heart, Pro motion display on the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Screens get bright, all that stuff is fine. What I'm most excited about, finally, high refresh rates. 120 hertz on an iPhone has been long overdue, and Apple's done a really good job, at least it appears, with the implementation of it. So it'll scale up and down depending on what you're doing to also maximize battery life, which is absolutely awesome. When you're scrolling, things should look absolutely buttery smooth. It is awesome to have it finally on the iPhone 13 Pros. And again, just on those Pro lines, unfortunately not on the iPhone 13 lines. At least from my standpoint, that was the absolute biggest one, but there's a lot of other improvements here. Aside from the display, the big ones with the iPhone 13 lines are camera improvements. So the camera themselves, as well as the modulars, got a lot bigger, allowing Apple to generally do more stuff with their cameras. The array looks similar, but Apple went for a diagonal design with the 13 and the 13 mini. So here are things you should know on that 13 and 13 mini. So the wide angle is f1.6 aperture, ultra wide f2.4. Pro models got pretty nice upgrades here. f1.8 ultra wide with macro photography, which means you can get really close to things, actually up to 2 centimeters. That's something that's been around for a little while. Nice to have. I don't think it's going to be something you're going to use all the time, but you can get really close. They showed where you can even see sort of the veins on a leaf. And for the wide angle, f is now 1.5 with 2.2 times better low light. So telephoto's also been improved. It definitely needed that. And now goes to 3x, which is awesome. And the Pro models on the video side can now issue ProRes. If you do a lot of video editing, that's going to be really nice to have. So going back to the iPhone 13, I guess kind of staying with the Pro 2, sensor shift is now available on all the models. So on the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 mini, there's actually some movement happening in those lenses, which means, so it should boil down to getting better low light shots and overall improved video. Speaking of video, we now have cinematic mode, which is absolutely awesome. That's across all the 13 lines. Think of it like portrait video. It's kind of rack focusing automatically. So if you're recording something in the foreground, you can tap on it. And then if you want to go back to a subject, you can tap on that and it'll switch focus. It should also, and this is interesting to see in practice, it'll know when a subject's kind of walking in and it'll focus on them. If I'm turning my head, for example, it would focus on what was behind me. And it should do all of that on their own. Pretty awesome to see. We've seen portrait video companies try it, I don't think with much success, so I'd be curious to see how Apple actually does that. So these are big updates, and Apple's clearly making the camera, aside from the display, the big reason to upgrade your 12 or 12 Pro Max, whatever you've got before. Are these enough for you? Having sensor shift on the 13 is something I think is a giant improvement. Macro mode's really not gonna matter, I don't think, too much for the Pro side of things. Being able to have a better zoom for some might be a reason, but I guess the sales numbers are gonna tell a story for themselves. All right, so before we get back to all the just iPhone nutsness that literally just happened, I do wanna thank this video's sponsor, ButcherBox. And first, just look at this face. Do you wanna be as happy as this video's editor, JD? He just made one of the best ribeye steaks at home. And look at Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle. He just made burgers, and that man is as happy as a human being can be. And you too can achieve that level of dinner nirvana with ButcherBox. If you're not familiar, ButcherBox delivers high quality meat frozen at like the peak of freshness, delivered right to your door. So ButcherBox, their mission is to believe in better. And for them, better means caring about the animals and the planet. So it means improving the livelihoods of farmers, and ultimately it boils down to better meals enjoyed together. That's why they're delivering 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, free-range organic chicken, pork-raised, cage-free, wild-caught seafood, and way more directly to your door. And they also make it really easy to subscribe. If you decide to cancel anytime, they made it really easy with no penalty whatsoever. You can pick from 5 boxes, 4 curated box options, as well as a pretty popular custom box. So you get exactly what you and your family love. So if you want to check out ButcherBox and you use our link down below, you will get 2 pounds of ground beef free added to your order for the duration of your subscription with ButcherBox. It's a really awesome deal and an awesome perk. Check them out. So this one has been rumored for a while and is confirmed that notch is getting smaller. In fact, it is getting 20% smaller. And Apple's kind of starting to show their hand for finally removing that notch, which should happen with it's weird to even say this, next year's iPhone 14. So that's nice that it's smaller, it looks better, all the Face ID stuff is still there. I'm excited about improvements with the notch getting smaller. More screen real estate is always good, but not just still there. I don't know if you care that much about a smaller one, but hey, it's smaller. Ultimately, we're gonna move our way to get a hole punch, but this is the step until we get there. So new colors, because the design is basically the same aside from cameras, we got new colors to choose from. So for the 13 and 13 mini, we got pink, blue, starlight, and product red. Pro model got a baller new color, I think, called Sierra Blue. You can see it right here. Other colors, graphite, gold, and silver will be available. Screen sizes are still the same on the 13, 13 mini, 13 Pro, and 13 Pro Max. Aside from the screen size, pretty much everything got bumped up here this generation. So this category is sort of a few things kind of clumped together. Apple is known for trying to make things a lot smaller with each new product, and this year they made things bigger aside from that notch. So bigger battery, which is awesome. On the 13 and 13 mini, you should get between 2.5 and 1.5 hours more, which is awesome. Bigger storage sizes, 128, 256, or a new 512 gigabyte storage size, again on the 13 and the 13 mini, which is awesome. Pricing is staying the same, $699 or $799 depending if you go mini or 13. So it's good that that number didn't go bigger. The Pro also got bigger, storage sizes for everybody, from 128 now all the way up to the very first time a terabyte of storage on the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. All pricing on the iPhone 13 Pros as well as the 13s will be exactly the same as last year. Phones will be available for pre-order this Friday, September 17th, and then will ship or in-store pickup the following Friday, September 24th. There's a lot of other nuanced things in there to be excited about, but these are my top 5. And for me though, it's really all about the display. Everything else is very secondary. I'm excited to see how their cinematic mode's gonna work on video. I'm excited to see the implementation of ProMotion, how it scales up and down dynamically, how apps take advantage of it. The new colors look great, but ultimately this is about the display. I think bringing Apple up to feature parity with some of the best of the competition. If it's enough for you to upgrade, I don't know, but I am pumped to see it. I'm pumped to get these phones in my hand, and I am pumped to start testing.